I think with God. My mind holds only what I think with God. My mind holds only what I think with God. My mind holds only what I think with God. Forgiveness is the key to happiness. Forgiveness is the key to happiness. Forgiveness offers everything I want. Forgiveness offers everything I want. My mind holds only what I think with God. Forgiveness is the key to happiness. Forgiveness offers everything I want. Thank you all so much for joining me today here in studying A Course in Miracles workbook for students and the text here on Monday, May the 20th of 2024, lesson 141, and we've read the whole lesson already. We're going to read the how to do the lesson today, but the lesson is basically for the next 10 days. We're going to review the last 20 lessons, 2 lessons a day, and we'll spend 5 minutes hanging out with the idea, my mind holds only what I think with God. And after that 5 minutes little prep period, then we're going to bring the 2 associated ideas and just spend a little moment or 2 or however long with those. He says that this is what time is used for, to let these ideas settle in. The reviews today will be lesson 121 and lesson 122. 121 being forgiveness is the key to happiness, and 122, forgiveness offers everything I want. So let's take a look at our review, how we're to do the next 10 days. Let's read that. It's review number 4. Introduction. Now we review again. This time, aware we are preparing for the second part of learning how the truth can be applied. Today we will begin to concentrate on readiness for what will follow next. Such is our aim for this review and for the lessons following. Thus we review the recent lessons and their central thoughts in such a way as will facilitate the readiness that we would now achieve. There is a central theme that unifies each step in the review we undertake, which can be simply stated in these words: my mind holds only what I think with God. This is a fact and represents the truth of what you are and what your Father is. It is this thought by which the Father gave creation to the Son, establishing the Son as co-creator with Himself. It is this thought that fully guarantees salvation to the Son. For in His mind no thoughts can dwell but those His Father shares. Lack of forgiveness blocks this thought from His awareness, yet it is forever true. I listened to Carol Howe, and she says it's kind of like having looking out your window and having the shades pulled, the curtains shut, and you can't see the yard. But that doesn't mean the yard's not there. You just can't see it. Well, that's what forgiveness does. It's lack of forgiveness blocks this thought from His awareness, yet it is forever true. that my mind holds only what I think with God, but our lack of forgiveness blocks this. It's like pulling the shades and you can't see out anymore. But it's the outside, the yard is still there. What you can't see is just obstructed by what? Your unforgivenesses, your grievances. Let us begin our preparation with some understanding of the many forms in which the lack of true forgiveness may be carefully concealed. Because they are illusions, they are not perceived to be but what they are, defenses that protect your unforgiving thoughts from being seen and recognized. Their purpose is to show you something else and hold correction off through self-deception made to take its place. And yet your mind holds only what you think with God. Your self-deceptions cannot take the place of truth, no more than can a child who throws a stick into the ocean change the coming and the going of the tides, the warming of the water by the sun, the silver of the moon on it by night. So even though a little child, throws a stick in the water, he ain't going to change any of those things. So do we start each practice period in this review with readying our minds to understand the lessons that we read and see the meaning that they offer us. Begin each day with time devoted to the preparation of your mind to learn what each idea you will review that day can offer you in freedom and in peace. Open your mind and clear it of all the thoughts that would deceive. And let this thought alone engage it fully and remove the rest. My mind holds only what I think with God. 5 minutes with this thought will be enough to set the day along the lines which God appointed and to place His mind in charge of all the thoughts you will receive that day. So he says, start your day off with 5 minutes thinking of this idea. My mind holds only what I think with God. They will not come from you alone. So he says 5 minutes with this thought will be enough to set the day along the lines which God appointed and to place His mind in charge of all the thoughts you will receive that day. They will not come from you alone, for they will all be shared with Him. And so each one will bring the message of His love to you, returning messages of yours to Him. So will communion with the Lord of hosts be yours, as He Himself has willed it be. And as His own completion joins with Him, so will He join with you who are complete, as you unite with Him and He with you. After your preparation, merely read each of the 2 ideas assigned to you to be reviewed that day. Then close your eyes and say them slowly to yourself. There is no hurry now, for you are using time for its intended purpose. Let each word shine with the meaning God has given it, as it was given to you through His voice. Let each idea which you review that day give you the gift that He has laid in it for you to have of Him. And we will use no format for our practicing but this. Each hour of the day bring to your mind the thought with which the day began, and spend a quiet moment with it. My mind holds only what I think with God. Each hour of the day, bring that idea and spend a moment with it. Then repeat the 2 ideas you practice for the day unhurriedly, with time enough to see the gifts that they contain for you, and let them be received where they were meant to be. And after you settle in every hour of the day with that idea, my mind holds only what I think with God, then today say, forgiveness is the key to happiness. Forgiveness offers everything I want. And then take a moment to just let it kind of settle into your bones. We add no other thoughts, but let these be the messages they are. We need no more than this to give us happiness and rest and endless quiet, perfect certainty, and all our Father wills that we receive as the inheritance we have of Him. Each day of practicing as we review, we close as we began, repeating first the thought that made the day a special time of blessing and of happiness for us, and through our faithfulness restored the world from darkness to the light, from grief to joy, from pain to peace, from sin to holiness. God offers thanks to you who practice thus the keeping of His word. And as you give your mind to the ideas for the day, again before you sleep, His gratitude surrounds you in the peace wherein He wills you be forever, and are learning now to claim again as your inheritance. My mind holds only what I think with God. So as you go to sleep tonight, before your head hits the pillow, hang out for 5 minutes with that idea. My mind holds only what I think with God. And then after you've really settled into that realization, then say the two relating ideas and spend a little time with those. Forgiveness is the key to happiness. Forgiveness offers everything I want. And then go to sleep. When you wake up in the morning, do the same thing. Okay, and then throughout the day, do a little mini. It's going to probably take you 6, 7, 8 minutes, maybe 10. If you're going to set your clock, I'd set it for, what probably work. It depends on you. 5 minutes, if you're really one of those kind of people that keeps looking at the watch, see if it's been 5 minutes, thinking about my mind holds only what I think with God, well, then you may want to set your clock for 5 minutes. If you're one of those kind of people that can kind of just let 5 minutes kind of elapse, and after you felt like it's been about 5 minutes, then go on into the other, well, then you may not need to set a clock at all, or maybe you need to set it for 10 minutes so that you don't go, spend too long and miss an appointment that you have for something. So, be aware, but spend 5 minutes hanging out with the idea today when you wake up and when you go to bed tonight. My mind holds only what I think with God. And after you've settled into that, then say your two related ideas for the next 10 days. Today's being, forgiveness is the key to happiness. Forgiveness offers everything I want. Oh, and I didn't even tell you that I'm a forgiveness teacher, Miracle Willie, from the Ozarks. And this is kind of one of my favorite lessons because it's kind of inspires me to realize what's important in this world is to let go of grievances and to stay tuned up with my mind holds only what I think with God. Okay, well, let's go back and look at our text reading for today. And we're ready in chapter 15, the Holy Instant, Roman numeral 7, the needless sacrifice. And as you're turning there, let's see what's going on around the world. Eliza Doolittle Day. That's a fictional character by George Bernard Shaw. The character is the woman in My Fair Lady, musical that was made afterwards about that. Emancipation Day, it's in Florida. Everybody Draw Mohammed Day, which, Mohammed, blessed be his name, we want to always be respectful of other people's religion. And yet this particular observance is to inspire people to speak their mind and to have the freedom to do so. So basically think of it as a free speech holiday. Flower Day, sitting by some oxeye daisies, put one in my ear so just because it's Flower Day. April showers bring May flowers, and we've been having lots of showers in May too. Josephine Baker Day. She was a French-American actor and dancer, born 1906, died 1975. National Rescue Dog Day. Whit Monday or Pentecost Monday, and yesterday, I think it was yesterday, within the last few days, I said, well, I think it was yesterday, Pentecost was 40 days, it's 50 days, Penta, 5. It's 5 days after, or 50 days after Easter. It came from the Feast of Weeks, or Shavuot, the Jewish holiday, which was from the Passover to the Feast of Weeks was 50 days. 7 weeks, and then the next day was the 50th. 7 times 7, 49, and then the next day being the Shabbat. So, and also here with Easter, and then Whit Monday is what today is, which is actually 50 days. I don't know how they count that. You count the actual Sunday to Sunday, or anyway, Pentecost Sunday and Pentecost Monday. You count it however you want. You got 50 days one way or the other. If you want to study more about Pentecost, you can look it up in Exodus 23, Leviticus 23, Deuteronomy 16, and Acts 2:4. I'll put those links in the description. Pick Strawberries Day, the Fragaria ananases. Let's see, Reduce Your Lawn Day. Be aware that we want a lot of, less lawn and more native plants. Maybe that'd be good for the environment. Also, Victoria Day. Queen Victoria was born 1819 and died 1901. Supply Chain Professionals Day, Weights and Measures Day, World Bee Day, the Apis mellifera, I think it maybe is pronounced, how do you pronounce it? Honeybee. World Bee Day. Thank you for the bees. I almost sat in front of my beehive but I thought, it wasn't really the best place to be sitting. Right there. I mean, I like sitting by my bees, and one of these days we'll have a little sit by the bees. World Meteorology Day. And then out of edible landscaping, we've got a plum, and it's what's it called? The beach plum. And it says of the beach plum in edible landscaping, beach plums are native to the northeastern U.S. along the coast. Adaptable, we've grown them for years at the nursery, and they're in Virginia. Fruits are tart and many, used in jams and jellies. The white profuse flowers bloom later than European, American, and Japanese plum, so they escape late frost and are usually not a host for plum curculio. They have finished their egg-laying cycle by the time the beach plum sets its fruit. They also are free of brown rot fungus on the fruits. Plants are shrubs about 6 foot tall and wide, zones 5 through 7. Okay, the beach plum, which is the Prunus maritima, or maritima. Okay, and let's go back and look at our reading now. I'm sitting by these oxeye daisies. Jessica loves these little oxeye daisies. I'll have to take her some. The needless sacrifice. Beyond the poor attraction of the special love relationship, and always obscured by it, is the powerful attraction of the Father for His Son. There is no other love that can satisfy you, because there is no other love. This is the only love that is fully given and fully received. Being complete, it asks nothing. Being wholly pure, everyone joined in it has everything. This is not the basis of any relationship in which the ego enters, for every relationship on which the ego embarks is special. Let's say again our lesson. My mind holds only what I think with God. Forgiveness is the key to happiness. Forgiveness offers everything I want. Try to remember to say that throughout the day. Try for every hour, more if you want, it's totally fine. Try to settle in with that idea, though. My mind holds only what I think with God first. And then in that settled in space, remind yourself forgiveness is the key to happiness. Forgiveness offers everything I want. Paragraph 2 in the Needless Sacrifice, chapter 15 of the text. The ego establishes relationships only to get something, and it would keep the giver bound to itself through guilt. It is impossible for the ego to enter into any relationship without anger, for the ego believes that anger makes friends. This is not its statement, but it is its purpose, for the ego really believes that it can get and keep by making guilty. This is its one attraction, an attraction so weak that it would have no hold at all except that no one recognizes it. For the ego always seems to attract through love and has no attraction at all to anyone who perceives that it attracts through guilt. Okay, so the way that it attracts through guilt would be like in a relationship. Someone's telling you that you're wrong for what you're doing and being angry at you for doing something. And was that a tick on me? Anyway, you get those plenty out here. And so, to the ego, it uses guilt to get what it wants. I want you to love me, pay attention to me, and you're wrong for not doing something. And it pouts, and you know how the ego works. Well, we want to free ourselves from that. That's that shutting the curtain that Carol Howe talks about, where we can't see outside, we can't see the yard, we can't see that my mind holds only what I think with God, because we're too steeped in the grievance of the moment, trying to follow the ego's dictate. Well, we want to recognize that and let it go. That's why forgiveness is the key to happiness. Because when you can let go of what the ego wants you to do, you can see the yard again. And by the way, speaking of Carol Howe, I would encourage you, if you want a little bit more learning from how to see the Course in Miracles, listen to her YouTubes on the lesson for the day, and she really does a nice job at reading the lesson, but with her own words thrown in. So I'd encourage you to listen to her. The sick attraction of guilt must be, this is paragraph 3 in section 7. The sick attraction of guilt must be recognized for what it is. For having been made real to you, it is essential to look at it clearly, and by withdrawing your investment in it, to learn to let it go. No one would choose to let go what he believes has value, yet the attraction of guilt has value to you only because you have not looked at what it is, and have judged it completely in the dark. As we bring it to light, your only question will be why it was you ever wanted it. As we bring it to light, your only question will be why it was you ever wanted it. It's caused us so much pain to follow the ego's dictates. The question we're going to say when we see the light and the radiance of love shining within us and all around us is, why did we ever want to follow the teachings of guilt or the idea that the ego could give us something? To not practice forgiveness. So he says, yet the attraction of guilt has value to you only because you have not looked at what it is and have judged it completely in the dark. As we bring it to light, your only question will be why it was you ever wanted it. You have nothing to lose by looking open-eyed, for ugliness such as this belongs not in your holy mind. This host of God can have no real investment here. Paragraph 4. We said before that the ego attempts to maintain and increase guilt, but in such a way that you do not recognize what it would do to you. For it is the ego's fundamental doctrine that what you do to others you have escaped. Wow. Okay, see, because the ego is based on that we're separate. Doesn't realize that what you do to your brother, you're doing to yourself. So it tries to get rid of what you don't want by blaming. We said before that the ego attempts to maintain and increase guilt, but in such a way that you do not recognize what it would do to you. For it is the ego's fundamental doctrine that what you do to others you have escaped. The ego wishes no one well. Yet its survival depends on your belief that you are exempt from its evil inventions, or evil intentions. Inventions too, but intentions is the word. I make some mistakes, and I'll go back and correct them if I notice them and see that they're completely contradictory to what I'd said. If I'd make a mistake and it still could be applicable, I usually don't make a comment that I made a mistake. The ego wishes no one well. Yet its survival depends on your belief that you are exempt from its evil intentions. It counsels, therefore, that if you are host to it, it will enable you to direct its anger outward, thus protecting you. And thus it embarks on an endless, unrewarding chain of special relationships forged out of anger and dedicated to but one insane belief, that the more anger you invest outside yourself, the safer you become. And we see that not only in our personal relationships, but in our world relationships. oftentimes are plagued with that. I think that's what we're seeing it's what we see in all wars. I was going to say what's going on over in Israel and Palestine, what's going on in particularly there, but also in Russia and Ukraine and other places around the world. So we want to learn that we are safe when we don't defend ourselves, when we practice forgiveness, when we realize that we are all joined in the love of God who created us all. So be sure to do your lesson today. 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes at night, a little more than 5, because you want to spend 5 minutes just on the idea my mind holds only what I think with God. And then spend a little time afterwards on forgiveness is the key to happiness. Forgiveness offers everything I want. My mind holds only what I think with God. My mind holds only what I think with God. My mind holds only what I think with God. My mind holds only what I think with God. My mind holds only what I think with God. My mind holds only what I think with God. My mind holds only what I think with God. My mind holds only what I think with God. My mind holds only what I think with God. My mind holds only what I think with God. Forgiveness is the key to happiness. Forgiveness is the key to happiness. Forgiveness offers everything I want. Forgiveness offers everything I want. Forgiveness offers everything I want. My mind holds only what I think with God. Forgiveness is the key to happiness. Forgiveness offers everything I want. And our word for peace today is in an Australian tribe's language, the Wagaman people. And it's, if I'm pronouncing this right, Nyimbur-ma. Nyimbur-ma. My mind holds only what I think with God. Forgiveness is the key to happiness. Forgiveness offers everything I want. Nyimbur-ma.